Therefore, it should be shown that the ancients knew perfectly well what is confirmed by geology today. That is, the first life on earth was marine life. That is, it appeared in the waters. To think that life first appeared in the waters is not only reasonable, but it was imperative, according to the natural laws, that it should do so. Life can only commence at a temperature below 200 degrees Fahrenheit. We have been unable to produce life at over 175 degrees Fahrenheit. During the Earth's cooling, the waters were always a step in advance of the rocks in cooling. Therefore, the waters, being in advance of the rocks in cooling, were down at a temperature where life could make a start before life could start among the rocks, or at best hot, rocky, gravelly sand with little or no actual soil. The first life that appeared on this earth were tiny microscopical marine grasses and lichens. These were destined to become the foundation stones of the house of life, nature's lives, and so the house was built upon them until man, the special creation, came to form the divine coping stone. Various serpents are mentioned in the ancient writings, each one symbolizing something different than the others. These ancient serpent symbols are divided into two classes. 1. The adorned serpent, symbolizing the creative attribute of the deity. 2. Plain unadorned serpents were symbols of the waters. The symbolic water was called Khan. Figure 1. This serpent is one of the vignettes appearing in the sacred writings, 5th command. As this serpent has a nest of eggs within her coils, it is permissible to assume that this creation refers to the various forms of marine life. This is Mexican tablet number 328. This serpent symbolizes the actual first life in the waters, therefore the first life on earth. Figure 2 is the usual form of a water symbol, without any additions such as eggs, etc. This vignette comes from an Egyptian papyrus dating about 3000 BC. It depicts Horus, the symbol of the sun, in combat with Apophis, the waters. This illustration plainly shows a great difference in the teachings from the original that are found in the great sacred writings, and which are repeated and confirmed in the Mexican tablet number 328. There the scientific account is given. In the Egyptian, a symbol is given without the explanation. The Mexican tablet is at least 7,000 years older than the Egyptian vignette. But Egypt did not stand alone in this obtuse teaching. The Greeks had their Apollo, the sun, killing the serpent Python, the waters. The Hindus had Krishna, killing the serpent Ananta, the waters. The Chaldeans had Bel-Marduk, the sun, overcoming Tiamat, the waters. Chaldean tablet, found in the library of the palace of King Assurbanipal, says, "At a time when neither the heavens above nor the earth below existed, there was a watery abyss, the first of seed, the mistress of the depths, the mother of the universe. The waters covered everything. No product had ever been gathered, nor was there any sprout seen. Aye, the very gods had not come yet into being. The gods are preparing for a grand contest against the monster known as Tiamat, the waters. The god Bel-Marduk overthrows Tiamat. Tiamat is a Naga word meaning water everywhere, nowhere land. Bel-Marduk was a Babylonian name for the sun as the celestial orb, and not as the symbol Ra. From the foregoing, it appears to be that the first two extracts correspond to the Mexican tablet number 339, and the last to the advent of life on earth. Some connecting tablets are evidently missing. In the sacred writings of Mu, it is plainly shown that there was no combat or fighting, that it was the commingling of forces in connection with the elementary matter that produced the results, and that the natural law regarding the creation of life had only been followed. The savages and semi-savages of the South Sea Islands have legends among them showing that they have understood the workings of forces better than the myths taught by the Egyptians, Greeks, Hindus, and Chaldeans, which go to prove that these myths were bred after Mu went down and the South Sea Islands became isolated from the rest of the world. The South Sea Islanders explain that all creations are the result of marriages, commingling between gods, forces, which is correct. Theirs is the original explanation orally handed down for 12,000 years, and wonderfully well that they have kept it. Of course, there are divergences from the original, but when one considers the time that they have been orally passed down from father to son, it is a miracle that the differences are so immaterial, and that they have no unscrupulous priesthoods to tamper with the great things left behind. Referring to the Bible again, and to show how extremely old some parts of it are, those which came out of the sacred writings, I will call attention to a few facts. Moses, without a question, based his religious laws on the pure Osirian religion as taught by Thoth. Take, for instance, the Ten Commandments. In the great hall of truth of Osiris, there are placed 42 gods in a row to ask the soul when it enters this judgment hall 42 questions regarding the life of the material body in which it had dwelt. Moses took these 42 questions in a condensed form, made 42 commands out of them, which he condensed to 10 commands. This drastic change made by Moses was unquestionably necessary to meet the conditions into which his people had fallen. Moses changed nothing in conception. He simply made more emphatic how they must live their lives here on earth. He applied these laws to the living directly instead of to the dead. The 10 Commandments, however, are found in the sacred inspired writings in Mu more than 70,000 years ago, only in the form of questions instead of commands. But the Jews were not the only people who had a conception that the religious laws came directly from the Supreme God through some agent. And this may be so, for we have no record who wrote the writings of Mu, and is distinctly stated there that they are sacred and inspired. Who was the inspired one? What was his name? Diodorus Siculus says, the Egyptians claimed that their religious laws were given to them through Menedus by Hermes. The Cretians held that their religious laws were given to them by Minos, who had received it from Zeus. The Lacedaemonians claimed that theirs was a gift from Apollo to Lycurgus. The Aryans were given theirs by Zethrosus, who received them from the good spirit. The Getae claimed that Zamolxis obtained theirs from the goddess Hestia. The Jews claimed that Moses received theirs from Lau. The inscriptions on the old Akkadian ruins of Babylonia clearly express the feelings and ideas of these people 10,000 to 15,000 years ago about man and creation. They believed that man was a special creation, and showed how he came into being. They clearly indicate that God was the creator and his force controls the universe and all therein. This is corroborated by sacred inspired writings, the writings on the Mexican tablets, and the cliff writings of North America. All support the fact that the first religion was pure monotheism, that the Creator created all things and today is controlling the universe with all life through it. Writings from Western Thebes and Amenemoped, priest, are word for word the same as the Proverbs written by Solomon. These writings are dated several hundred years before Solomon was born. Solomon was a scholar and reproduced these wonderful epics. Further, it is clearly shown that besides a Jew, he was also an Osirian. The building of his temple showed it. Wherever possible in its construction, Solomon carried out the most minute details, shown in the symbolic Hall of Truth, Osiris presiding. The porch especially is noteworthy, for it has 2 pillars, with identically the same names and same decorative ornaments. Without question, Solomon knew and appreciated that his religion was nothing more or less than pure Osirian religion, arranged and modified to suit the people of his times. The symbols which are used in the religious teachings of early man are popularly known as the sacred symbols. When symbols were first used, it was to concentrate man's mind on the Infinite One, so that by keeping his eyes on the symbol, no outside sights or sounds may call off his attention from the object of worship. Man was most carefully taught that the symbol itself was not to be worshipped, that the symbol was only a picture to keep his mind from wandering. He was carefully taught that there was only one deity, but that one deity had many attributes which looked after health and strength, rain and sunshine, crops, in fact, after the whole welfare of mankind. In the beginning, 3 symbols only were used. When these were understood, they were compounded and others added. And as time grew, so did the number of symbols, also their complexity, until we come down to Egypt about 3,000 or 4,000 years ago. When there was such a riot of symbols, scarcely one temple understood the meaning of half the symbols used in the other. The 3 original symbols which I have referred to are the circle, the equilateral triangle, and the square. The circle is a picture of the sun and was the symbol of the Infinite One. As it embraced all of his attributes, it was a monotheistic symbol. Being a monotheistic symbol, it was considered the most sacred symbol of all. According to legend, the sun was selected for this symbol because it was the most powerful object that came within the sight and understanding of man at the time. The circle, having no beginning and no ending, also symbolized everlasting, without end, and infinity. Before very long, it was shown that the circle was being used to symbolize so many things that it became necessary to specialize the circle when using it as a monotheistic symbol of the deity. The Nagas made an addition by placing a dot in